You are now tuned in to Go Time Dolphins with Charlie Touche and Kadeem Simmons, the Miami Dolphins podcast that's for the fans and by the fans.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Don't waste no time.
Before we get into my appearance, I want to set a scene. Imagine you are watching a movie, a sports movie, it's a soccer movie, and the movie is basically about this star who moves to this team, and the scores are tied, 1-1, and there's a free kick, last minute. It's the movies, it's Hollywood. There's only one outcome. It's going to be a goal, top corner, the crowd goes wild. Everyone's like, you know how it is. What I just described happened in real life. Charlie Touche, you said you needed a football team. You now have your football team. And I think it's fair to say your first match as a fan of that football team couldn't have ended any other way.
It wasn't the first match though. I watched a couple games before this man has arrived. So I don't want to be one of those people who just jumped on after he arrived. But I was not attached to the team like I am now. If you've seen the game and heard the call while it went down, it was poetic. The announcer was like, Messi couldn't have been any other way. Magnificent. Bro, I felt like we won something, but we didn't. We just only won the game. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to be real with you, bro. Like, I just bought the package on Apple TV that day. You know what I'm saying? So I don't miss any game. I think the next game is Tuesday. So I don't miss any games. Bro, it was already worth it. It's already worth the cost that I paid to get the package. And I already told y'all, if Messi came to Miami, I'm getting a Miami Dolphins jersey, number 10, with Messi on the back of it. And that's the jersey I'm wearing to the Germany game, straight up. So
It has to be done.
Y'all know what time it is, man. It's Go Time Dolphins, the Miami Dolphins podcast that goes not only across the pond, but across the world. I'm your boy, Charlie Touche. Got my co-host, Kadeem Simmons, with me. It's always for the fans and by the fans. Your favorite podcast. Kadeem, what's the word?
I don't know if you've noticed or not.
You know what? Let's stop. Because we got a guest. And I don't want to keep this man waiting because I got to say something. But we're going to bring the guest in. First time on the show. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Chris Saconni. We appreciate you rocking with us, Chris. How you doing, bro?
I'm doing well, man. How you guys doing tonight?
Hey, we cool. I ain't gonna lie to you, Chris. When we do the podcast setup, we introduce ourselves, put you backstage for a second, like, yo, we're gonna bring you in. We don't really want to talk about too much stuff that's gonna go on the podcast. But I noticed right off the bat, you got like a signature beard going on, right? I'm like, yo, that's a pretty luscious beard. And then I was thinking, who is this guy on the top left corner? And what did he do with my co-host, bro? Like, Kadeem, you chopped the beard? For all the audio listeners, Kadeem chopped the beard, bro. I have more hair on my chin than Kadeem Simmons. What's going on, bro?
So, yeah, I decided to shave my beard off. I told Hannah Montana I was shaving my beard off. I done it. Charlie, Chris, no word of a lie. When she saw me, she started crying. She was just like, I can't believe that you look so different. You look younger. She was in actual tears that I shaved my beard off. And the moment the barber did it, I regretted it. I was like, I shouldn't have done it.
Most of the time,
he got about halfway to back hair, and I was just like, nah, I should have kept the beard. But I've got an 8-year-old son. He's never seen me without a beard. I was like, you know what? I'll do it, and I'm never doing it again. Once I grow it back, that's it. It's there to stay for life. Like I can't go back to this.
So to help you next time that you're doing that, instead of shaving up, tell them to shave down. Okay, so if you're doing it like you're keeping the darkness, but it's shortening the hair. So because when you go this way, you're taking the hair super short. As you're going this way, you're going with the grain. So you're keeping the darkness, but you're knocking out the bulk of it. And to me, that'll be a better look. So if you wanted to shorten it, you didn't want it to be super long or things like that, go down with it because it'll shorten the hairs here. But if you wanted to keep your length down here, you could. It just gives a better shape.
Bro, I appreciate the input, Chris. Like, I don't know if people understand the gravity of the situation. This is like James Harden shaving his beard. Like Kadeem shaved his beard. Like, I don't even know what is going on right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not right. Listen, once upon a time, I ain't gonna lie to you. Once upon a time, I had long hair. Like super long, you know what I'm saying? Twisted up, braided up, super beard fro. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to walk around and I used to toss my hair back because it was in my eyes. That's like I had long hair, just shake it and everything. And then I decided, I'm gonna chop it. And I chopped it. And for the next 2-3 days, I was still walking around with my head like trying to get my hair out my eyes, but I didn't have hair no more. You know what I'm saying? Like Kadeem, do you still go like this thinking you have a beard? Like you still like grab your chin and stuff?
I start here expecting there to be a beard. I'm like, no, I've got it's weird. Was in the car, and I was like, my face is cold. Like I felt like air was touching for the first time in about years, like years. But I said, by time Cyprus comes next year, the beard will be back.
I have no idea what to say. This is, and we have a guest, and I feel like we're being rude, but this is groundbreaking. This is next level. Tua just got a sleeve tatted on him. Type, like, you know what I'm saying? News. Yep. And speaking of Tua, and speaking of sleeves, and speaking of tats, Chris over here got a nice little sleeve himself.
Yeah, I'm all sleeved up.
Yo, all right. So you just told us about you just gave. Oh, he got the Dolphin tatted on him. You know when you got the Dolphin tatted on you already know what time it is. For life. You already know. It's for life. You've been through all the ups and downs. You're a legit fan if it's tatted on you, for real. Shout out to Chris with the tat. Listen, so Chris was just shooting Kadeem some I guess some knowledge and some info. Like, yo, bro, when you shave your beard, you should do it like this. And I'm pretty sure people on the audio was like, yo, do dude know what he doing? Like, how you just gonna offer up like free barber advice? But you're a barber, ain't it?
So yeah, so 13, 14 years, it's how do you kind of get into it? What's kind of like been the highlights of being a barber, I guess?
So basically I got into it. My mom, she came home with a pair of clippers to have for the house. And from there, I kind of just picked them up and was just like, hey, do you want a haircut? Do you want a haircut? Next thing you know, I was cutting cousins, brother, dad, grandpa. From there, friends. And next thing you know, I made myself a little station in the garage next to the cat food and had myself a little $7 to $15 haircuts. And before I knew it, I had a line out the door. Next thing you know, the owner of the shop that I work at now, I met him when he was, I think, 14. I was 16. And he basically told me, he's like, bro, be a barber, be a barber. Not, at first I was kind of like, I don't know, maybe, because my parents grew up, basically just go work for, a big company. You know how all parents say, work for a big company, 401k, this, that, this. So that was always like my mindset. So being a barber was kind of like, I don't know, but from there, I did a couple of the other jobs. I was a driver for UPS. And those days of sweating, like 10-hour days, I started, I think, at like 200 pounds. I was like 175 pounds. And I was just like, you know what? I don't want to do this anymore. I'm going to be a barber again. So I ended up going back to barbering. And from there, I just took it by storm and did everything I had to do to build myself up. Now I'm busy 6 days a week, 10 hours a day. You know, I'm cutting anywhere from, 10 to 15 people a day, maybe 60 to 80 a week. So it's been good. I met some athletes through cutting hair.
Hold on. I ain't gonna lie to you. I remember, I say 2007 ish.
Mhm.
Haircuts was like still $10 back in the day, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, we not in the $10 haircut days no more, bro.
No,
You
we're
know what I'm
not.
saying? Like, so shout out to the entrepreneur we got here with probably taxing like $30 a chop. Like, yo, I ain't gonna lie, I should have considered. You know what I'm saying? So y'all cost of living going up. Y'all booming right now. But you said you got a couple athletes under your ticket. Who you got that you chopped up?
So first was Reuben.
Reuben, last name?
Reuben, Mr. Reuben Foster.
Okay.
I think it was last year, April 2022. Dolphins brought him in and for a visit. And once I saw that, I was like, oh, we have to sign this dude. Like, this dude needs to be on the team. Like, everything from his college days to how he was on the field. He was just like a missile that could, that just blow up the play every single time. Like, there was no wimpy hits from him, and he was like, getting hit by a Mack truck. And when we in the draft, I thought we were taking him at our pick, and we ended up taking Charles Harris. And I was so mad after that. Then I saw him get drafted by the 49ers and have an excellent rookie season. But yeah, he was my first. And then he actually introduced me to Jaron Reed. I cut him once. And then just recently, Geronimo Allison, wide receiver. Yep,
for the Packers.
Yep, he actually hit me up on Instagram, and I guess his parents bought a house a little west of me, and he was just on Instagram, and I guess found my page through the Explorer, and he's DM'd me. He's like, "Hey, do you have any availability tomorrow?" And at first, I looked at my DMs. I was like, "Wait a minute, what?"
Yeah.
I saw the check mark, and then I saw how many followers. I'm like, hold on. But he's like, yeah, man, your page look good. Your work looks good. I saw you cut Reuben. You look like a chill person. You have anything available? And that morning I was like at 8 a.m. So I ended up cutting his hair, and then just
at 8 a.m.
8 a.m. in the morning.
Hey, listen, you somebody when you have clients, but then your important clients refer more clients. And then when you're so booked that this new client got to come in at 8 o'clock in the morning, like, you're doing something serious, bro. Listen, that same draft when Charles Harris got drafted, we passed on Reuben Foster, and we also passed on Dalvin Cook that same draft, and it was a big deal. Listen, I ain't gonna lie to you. So I seen your Twitter, and it said Loxahatchee, Florida. And I'm gonna shout out everybody listening to the podcast. We got fans from across the pond that may not necessarily know where Loxahatchee, Florida is. I am born and raised in Florida, South Florida. Shout out to Carroll City, Miramar, County Line Road. The only reason I know about Loxahatchee, Florida is because I had a couple friends have some extended stays in Loxahatchee, Florida. If you know what I'm talking about, if you know, you know. But Loxahatchee, Florida, that's something to hold on to. Like, I never heard of someone actually being from Loxahatchee, Florida. Kadeem, you got something for Chris?
Yeah, quickly. So I was saying off air that my Miami fandom was around the time, or started around the time of the 2017 draft. And I remember being on Twitter, and the build up to the draft on draft night, everyone was just saying, take Reuben Foster, take Reuben Foster, take Reuben Foster. And as the picks are coming in, it's like, okay, cool. This guy's gone, but Foster's still on the board. And I remember there was a real excitement. It's like, we're actually going to do it. We're going to take Reuben Foster. And I think 21 Jawad Davis goes to the Lions. And it's like, yo, that linebackers, that full starting now. Take Reuben Foster. The Miami Dolphins select Charles Harris. And I remember Twitter just being like,
Come on.
Yo, if you're going to take a edge rusher,
Wasn't
take
TJ
TJ
Watt? Yeah, I was about to say TJ Watt was still there. Yeah.
Everyone was like, take TJ Watt. And I remember, like, again, there were people who wanted like Zach Cunningham. Like, there was a few guys who Miami Dolphins Twitter wanted, and Foster was like that main guy. And it's I say somewhat ironic and funny that in the second round the Dolphins took Raekwon McMillan. I got a McMillan jersey.
I seen it. I seen the top of it. I'm like, is that the Raekwon jersey?
It's a Raekwon jersey, and then McMillan preseason first snap gets injured, basically misses that first season. Before I pass it back to you, Chris, it's also interesting that Dalvin Cook also won that draft, and the Dolphins, 7 years later, are looking to bring in Dalvin Cook if things pan out that way. But Chris, I see you on Twitter loads, basically, promoting Reuben Foster, saying Dolphins need to be done. You have a bunch of people who retweet you and say, "Hey, Miami, bring in Reuben Foster." Obviously, we drafted Channing Tindall last year, but I think a lot of people believe that there's still space at linebacker to bring in Reuben. Given him personally, you watch him play, what would he bring to Miami in 2023?
Well, I mean, he would honestly be our only true middle linebacker. I feel like a lot of the guys that we have, they're not real true middle linebackers. They're more outside linebacker guys. Like Baker. He's not the best in coverage. He's really good at blitzing. But as for David Long, I like him. I think he could be good. He is a little smaller. Known to have a couple little injuries here and there. But behind that, you have Tindall, like you said, which the jury's still out. We don't know.
Still out for sure.
Don't know what we have there. Super athletic, super fast, but maybe has a hard time picking up the defense. We moved
AVG.
Yep, AVG inside. It's a question mark. Still don't know. He could be good, but to me, I feel like he's small. Inside linebackers need the stuff to run. Inside linebackers, need to drop back and pass. And to me, those are the two things that, especially this year, Reuben, he showed that he could drop back in coverage. He had maybe 5 catches on him the whole season. He ended up being the top linebacker in the USFL with over 150 snaps in PFF. So, he was I think a 90.6, and, he was literally the third best player. There was the 2 guys over him were interior D lineman and a safety. So, what he would bring to the Dolphins, he would bring big hits, basically replacing Landon Roberts with those big hits, except better in coverage. He would bring a coverage linebacker, somebody that you can trust to cut, drop back with tight ends, maybe running backs in the flat. And once he touches you, you're going down. He's not the type of person that, he wraps you up and you keep going. You feel the impact of him. So I just feel like bringing him in, you're getting a true inside linebacker. You're also getting, somebody that has a chip on their shoulder, somebody that wants a second chance to play again. He's itching to play, man. All he does is work out and train. Like eats, sleeps, everything football, bro. He loves it. The craziest thing is, knowing him in the past year and a half that I've known him, the dude is so humble. He's like a regular, just like us, a regular person. He's chill. He's cool. He's the nicest person too. He's yes sir, no sir, yes ma'am, no ma'am. Like he's country. He's very polite. He's a good person, and my daughter calls him Uncle Reuben. I just want more people to see like the side of him that I know. You know what I mean? Like everybody goes off the past and things like that of what happened, but I just feel he's deserving of a second chance, and that's why I've done what I've done over the past year and a half. I know how talented he is. I know how all of us Dolphin fans wanted him during that draft, and now here's your chance to get him at a discount price. It's a high reward, low risk, high reward type of move. you need the position. Why not? He accelerates in this scheme. He's a 4-3 linebacker, but he could play 3-4. He can play, he's told me he's willing to play outside linebacker, inside linebacker. He'll blitz. He can do it all. He has a lot of tape from last year, especially in the championship game. He has a play where he's on the outside and he's blitzing the quarterback and he strip sacks the quarterback. The defensive tackle picks the ball up, and basically they should have scored, but the defensive tackle ended up forward handing off.
What game are we talking about?
It's the USFL championship game.
Okay.
They played against the Birmingham Stallions, and it was a very close game. It was the number one offense against the number one defense. Reuben turned the team that Reuben was on, the Pittsburgh Maulers. They had a 1-8 season last year. They finished, I think it was 4-6. They didn't have a winning record, but they had in their division, they were number one. So they ended up making the playoffs and making it to the championship. They had the number one defense, the number one linebacking core, the number one secondary. They literally, their defense was awesome. If they had an offensive line, I think they would have won the whole thing. So they would have been the best team. But him coming in there, he told me his coach told him that he helped a lot of the guys around him get better. Tezino was one of his linebackers alongside of him. He's getting looked at by the Giants, I think, and he basically was second in tackles in the league. But he basically, he told Reuben that you were a big part of this, of helping me. That's why I think bringing Reuben into the Dolphins would be perfect for Tyndall, perfect for Aubrey Miller. Aubrey Miller is, to me, like maybe a younger Reuben, but we don't know, why throw somebody out there that's not ready when you could
undrafted as well. So
exactly.
The people we named Bake Show, AVG, Tyndall. I think all of those are naturally outside linebackers. Like, if I'm being honest with you, and I think all of them have played inside linebacker once upon a time for the Dolphins, including Tyndall and his 12 months of being here.
Yep.
So yeah, there's a need for linebacker on our team. We didn't mention David Long is on the team too now. My thing is, I wonder where his Chris Carter, wide receiver for people probably remember him for the Vikings. Chris Carter for the Vikings, but he started off on the Eagles and he got cut on the Eagles. And he said, this is out of Chris Carter, Hall of Famer. I got to put some respect on the man name. Hall of Famer Chris Carter said the best thing that ever happened in his career was to get cut. And it made him realize how, this is not promised, and he needed to tighten up, all the good stuff. And I understand that, people have things in their past, but sometimes maybe that getting cut is the reason why all of a sudden it humbled you. You feel me? So I don't know the story. I don't know the man personally. I don't know the details of all the documented things that may have happened. But I do know it's a Dolphin podcast. It's a football podcast, and we need linebackers. That's what I do know. Kadeem, how you feel about? Do you think there's a spot for Reuben, or do you think there's a chance that he could actually make the team right now? The best team the Dolphins have ever put on paper, literally.
So Chris did say, the Dolphins looked at him last year, and nothing, no contracts or anything came of it. Given how the season went, you've got a new scheme with Vic Fangio, and your additions to the room over the off season was, as you mentioned, David Long Jr., and then obviously you brought in Aubrey Miller undrafted, and you've also moved AVG inside. I think when people start kind of looking at the contract situation that Dolphins have and how much they're paying Jerome Baker, it's like you need to kind of save money in that room somewhere, and bringing in someone like Reuben Foster, as Chris mentioned, on probably a low contract, kind of like a maybe minimal base, but then depending on how he plays and stuff like that. And listen,
Maybe,
I'm in no way sitting here advocating for anyone to lose their job because that's a horrible thing to do and stuff like that.
You have to
But
think about the future.
yeah, you've got to pay. I am a firm believer in paying Christian Wilkins. At some point, I have to pay Tua, Jalen Phillips, Jalen Waddle, all these guys. And even if it's a 1-year deal for Reuben Foster, it's the kind of thing in which, at the bare minimum, bringing him into camp, seeing what he's like, seeing if, again, as mentioned, a Ubi Miller can learn something, seeing if a Channing Tindall can learn something. Listen, Jerome Baker's probably the most experienced person in that room, depending on the age of David Long. And adding more experience, I don't think, can hurt in any way. I think it's one of those things where, at the very least, you bring him in to see what he's like, see if he fits the scheme. It sounds like he's versatile. It sounds like,
Yes.
again, Chris mentioned this off air, he kept himself in shape, playing in the USFL. He's not someone who's been, sitting on the couch waiting for the opportunity. And if you look at some of these workout videos as well, it looks impressive. So yeah, I can't see any reason why, at the very least, you don't bring him in, especially if you kind of not took a chance, but you took a look last year. Again, it's a new scheme, new system, fresh eyes. He's probably in better football shape than he was when I looked at him last year.
15 pounds lighter.
Yeah, and it's training camp.
I think Elandon Roberts' best year as a Dolphin was last year, but he's no longer with us now. He's with the Steelers now. And Elandon Roberts, for a long time, bro, was a just shoot the gap. And he used to just shoot the gap without, just off of instinct, and just go. And he was 50-50. Like he would guess it right, and then it'll be a big play, or it'll be a whiff, like, bro, we need linebackers. You know what I'm saying? And when I seen Aubrey Miller come in undrafted, it's only so much you can ask from an undrafted, you know what I'm saying, just a rookie. Like, yo, like, you gonna fill the Elandon Roberts role, you know what I'm saying, Aubrey Miller. So you would hope that's what you get. And we brought up Bake Show. I was over here thinking while you were talking, Kadeem, and anyone who was watching, shout out to the audio listeners, shout out to everyone who rocked with us on YouTube. Please continue to share, like, and subscribe out here at Go Time Dolphins. If y'all can, like, give us that 5-star review on iTunes, we really, really do appreciate that. I was thinking, is Bake Show the longest tenured Dolphin right now? Who on the Miami Dolphins has been on the Dolphins longer than Bake Show? I know Gesicki, it was Howard. Xavier Howard. So I remember it was Gesicki, Parker, they left, and then I think it's Xavier Howard now. So here's my thing about the Miami Dolphins. Everybody can say what they want about the GM. They can say what they want about the owner. They can say what they want about how many times, when the last time you won the Super Bowl, all that good stuff. But in reality, the Dolphins do right by their players. When Parker got shipped off to New England, they told him he was getting shipped off, and they asked him, what teams do you want to go to? And they sent him to a team that he wanted to go to. Shout out to friend of the podcast, Miles Gaskin. He got his check. They could have moved on from him last year, but they kept him, and they paid the man like $2 million that, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we appreciate who you are in the locker room for us. We appreciate the way you came in. Mike McDaniel and Flo was like, yo, this man is the epitome of a Miami Dolphin. So no, he don't get all the touches, but we still need him in the locker room. And they paid him $2 million just to be the captain of the team, the unofficial captain of the team, basically. Same thing with Gesicki. They wanted to do right by the player. Even someone like Cedric Wilson, who hasn't been a Dolphin that long, like maybe 13 months, they appreciated him coming in and being a professional. And it's been said that they want to do right by Cedric Wilson too. For, yo, you took a year out of your career, thought you were going to be a number 2 receiver for us, and ended up not even being the number 3 receiver. So they still want to, yo, again, say what you want to say about the Dolphins, but they do right by players. So the thing about Jerome Baker, he could be like when Dalvin was put on the market and Hopkins was on the market. I was on this podcast saying, like, listen, in reality, you could move on from Agba and Bake Show and Cedric Wilson, and you could bring in Hopkins and Cook if you wanted to. Not saying it was realistic, but if you wanted to, you could do that. But that's not doing right by Jerome Baker. I didn't ever think they would move on from Jerome Baker, something like that. So I would say next year is his last year on the contract.
Yeah.
And anytime you could free up $8 million of cap, I'm gonna be real with you.
Do it.
It's Bake Show's on the clock. So again, like we were talking about last year, you hope you could just win the ship, and then now you could be like, "Yo, Mike Gesicki, we won the ship. Now you could go." But we didn't win the ship for Mike Gesicki. Now it's Bake Show on the clock. Like, dang, you hope you could win the ship, and then you could ship Bake Show off. But at least you won a ring with him. You know what I'm saying? And unfortunately, we're not getting it done. But you're still gonna have a need at linebacker. So it is an interesting question about someone like a Reuben Foster, where you're gonna have 90 people at camp. You would think you will want. Let's see what kind of competitions we can generate here. You gonna say something, Chris?
Yeah, I just feel like we don't need another young guy. There's no more undrafted rookies. Like the one guy that we were gonna give a shot to ended up just going on the IR. I really feel like the Reuben is like the perfect fit just because he's been in the league before. He knows the position. So it's not like you're going to take a step back. I really think that he could be just as good as David Long and Baker. I really do. But people, might just think I'm saying that just because, I'm his friend. But, I've seen him play. I watched him play all of his games, all of his USFL games. And the dude is still sideline to sideline, stuffing the run. And again, he surprised me big time in coverage. He was on top of his game there. Like they actually used him a lot more than I thought they were going to use him. Last year I had actually brought Reuben with me to the Eagles joint practice. And, he has friends on the team. He wants to play for the Dolphins. He loves the city of Miami. He lives down here, so he loves it down here. He loves the team. He actually went to a couple of our games last year, and just he knows Tua, he knows Waddle. One of his good friends is actually Raekwon Davis, and Raekwon got us into the friends and family tent. So we were there underneath the tent. Mike McDaniel's wife actually went up to Reuben and gave him a huge hug, say, because they know each other from the 49ers days. Like he knows who Mike McDaniel is. I was trying to get Reuben to actually, my whole goal was to get Reuben to talk to Mike McDaniel. But at the time that Mike came up, Reuben was talking to one of the players on the Eagles that he knew. And I didn't want to interrupt anything, but I wish I did because, I want to get them on a face-to-face because I really feel like getting to talk to him that, telling him why he's at these practices because he really does. He wants to play for us. He knows he'd be a perfect fit in this scheme. And again, he even said he's willing to put him on special teams. Do what he has to do. Put him on the practice squad. He just wants a chance to be able to play. And be a part of a team. And he, like I said, he's willing to play anywhere. Anywhere's there's a few teams that are interested in him, but Miami is definitely a spot that he would love to be because he loves it down here.
If you're just tuning in, do not adjust the screen. No one copy and pasted Kadeem Simmons' beard on Chris Saconni. Like Kadeem Simmons really cut his beard, and our guest on the show right now is Chris Saconni, and he has a luscious beard. Like I kind of wish I could grow a beard, but I'm comfortable in my skin. I like my goatee. You feel me? Like
Nice.
I'm out here. You feel me?
Yes,
but
sir.
I don't know what Kadeem got going on. But man, I could not believe it, bro. Yo, hey, I feel you could do sometimes, change is good. But I got a question though. This is the Miami Dolphin podcast, bro. Not only is it a Miami Dolphins podcast, it's the Miami Dolphin podcast that goes not only across the pond but across the world. Your favorite podcast. And this would not be a Dolphins podcast if we didn't ask how you became a fan, bro.
Oof, Dan Marino. Basically my favorite player, favorite number. I wore it ever since I was little, 13. Dan Marino was the man. That dude, I wish he would have been able to go to more Super Bowls. He went I think it was his second season, but his first year starting, lost to the 49ers. And since then, he never made it back. But favorite player, favorite number. That's the main reason why I became a Dolphins fan. My dad was a Dolphins fan. So, basically just growing up, watched them. And honestly, I don't know how my dad used to tell me, he's like, I don't know how you know everybody, every number, you know exactly who it is when they call it. I have a love for the team. And, now what I try to do with a lot of our, my buddies on Twitter is, we try to be the mind of the Dolphins and try to think their next moves and see if we're aligning with what they do, what we would do. And, a lot of these things lately, I really do feel, they're listening to their fans. I really do. I think they listen to us. That's why another reason why I just continue to, blast the internet with Reuben is because I feel it's being seen, and, people around the office do talk about it, but, now it's just, I have another week or two of, him getting into a camp, hopefully us, but, becoming a Dolphins fan, it was, definitely Dan Marino. That was
Hey,
man.
I'm the game is on right now. I'm watching the replay of the Inter Miami game, right? It's the 86th minute, right? Listen, but earlier I was watching Ace Ventura because it was on. I was like, you know what? It's on. I might as well watch it. You feel me?
Mhm.
And if Ray Finkel didn't, miss that kick, we would have been straight. We would have had 3 Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, Kadeem, you got something for Chris before we go?
Yeah. No, what? I'll save it. I have 2 things, and I'll save them both for bonus time. Because why not?
Hey, Chris, tell everybody where they can find you. Tell everybody where they could get a cut at. You know what I'm saying? Like, plug your Twitter and all that.
My Twitter is Saconni6913. I don't even know my own Twitter. Saconni6913 is my Twitter. My Instagram is Saconni Styles Inc. That's my barber page. You can see all my work. I think Threads is the same thing. I kind of got a little bit of everything. But I'm a barber over at Dapper Barbershop. It's in West Palm Beach, Florida. Basically, man, I'm there 6 days a week. So just book an appointment, dappercuts.com. And man, it's been great, talking with you guys and, getting, Reuben's name out there because, again, I really feel like he's deserving of a shot. And I think he's going to, if he gets the chance, he's going to show everybody that, he's worth it.
Hey, come on over to bonus time with us.
Yes,
Y'all know what time it is. Stay positive. Test negative. For Chris Saconni, Kadeem Simmons, I'm Charlie Touche. Thank you for tuning in this time. Make sure you catch us next time on Go Time. Already.
Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's show time. Cause it's your time. Lay it on the line when it's go time. Go. Don't waste no time. Gotta make them lose their mind when it's your time. And it's show time. Going all out when it's go time. Go. I ain't wasting no time.
So my first thing for bonus time is a little question to both of you. So you said Jerome Baker is the longest tenured Miami Dolphin currently on the roster.
No.
So Xavier Howard is.
Yeah.
And then basically Jerome Baker's next. 2018. I can see two other Dolphins players who both joined in 2018 alongside Jerome Baker. Who are those players?
Ooh, all right. Let's see here.
You want to get the Jeopardy music going?
Yeah, give me
2018. Who came in with Jerome Baker that's still on this team right now? Let's talk it out. Let's show the work. Jerome Baker with the
Offense, defense, or both defense?
One's offense. If I tell you what the other one is, it's way too easy. The other one's special teams.
I'm gonna go kicker. Sanders is one.
Yep.
All right. You said the other was offense.
Yep.
Offense.
Yeah, I think I got it.
Go ahead.
I think it's Durham Smythe.
Durham Smythe,
All
round
right.
4.
Let's
Pick
go!
2018 draft.
Couldn't have been any other way. Magnificent.
Durham Smythe, our tight end one.
Durham Smythe and Jason Sanders. And then my second thing is to you, Chris. You've got a Perform t-shirt. I don't think some people might not know who Perform are, what Perform are. You're rocking a t-shirt. Explain to people what Perform are, I guess.
Perform is,
yeah.
Yeah,
hey, y'all English across the pond is not the real English. So
sorry. Our English, did you say?
Hey, I'm done.
See, it's not your American, it's your English. So
I'm done.
saying.
Perform is actually Nick Hicks. He's Tua's trainer during the off season. That's actually his company. He has a gym that he, Dalvin Cook's one of his clients. Tua. He's got Zay Flowers. Who else does he have? Raheem Mostert, Ingold, Devin Singletary. He's got a
bunch of dogs. Got a bunch of dogs.
He does. And so basically, I met him basically off Twitter and met with him at a game. He's selling merch. It's too clean of a shirt to pass up on. It's Dolphin colors. It goes well with my King's Culture hat that I got from the Dolphins, little corduroy. But yeah, man, he's a cool dude. Actually follow him on Twitter as well, and I'm actually became really cool with him as well. He's a cool dude. Watching his journey, getting these guys, in the best shape of their life to play some football, and I'm hoping he's whispering sweet nothings into Dalvin Cook's ear so he can get him over.
hey, Nick, rock with the podcast. You know what I'm saying? We try to get him on. Hopefully he comes on now. You know what I'm saying? Nick, what's happening with you, bro? We appreciate you for real. Not everybody was down with Tua day one like we was. So come holler at us, bro.
Yeah. I guess one final thing for me then, and just to keep it light, if you're watching on YouTube, let us know in the comments the answer. If you got this in the car, if you got it on your headphones, feel free to answer along. So the 2018 NFL draft, Miami Dolphins have 7 picks. You got 3 of them in Baker, Smythe, and Sanders. Could you tell me the other picks the Dolphins had in 2018?
Hey, you see how he tried to get us? Like, yo, we already answered the question, right, bro? Why you try to double down? Like, yo, like, can we live? Can we make it to another podcast? And then you ask us another question so we could get that. Why are you trying to rain on our parade, bro?
Do you know what?
Raekwon Davis?
Raekwon Davis is not one of the picks.
2019. That was 2019.
Oh, we still answering this question?
Listen, he said Raekwon Davis. He kind of got it started. I'm happy to carry it into the next episode. So let us know in the comments.
No. We're not going to answer this question in the next episode. And then obviously we had time to cheat. We're not cheaters. You know what I'm saying? This is not a New England Patriot podcast. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo.
Minka, pick 11. Round 1.
See, Charlie? I wasn't invited.
So yeah, round 1 Fitzpatrick. Who did we take in round 2?
2018, the Dolphins select. It was not Raekwon Davis. Raekwon Davis was the year after that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I know Raekwon was the second, so I was like, let's see. Second.
That's tough, bro.
Offense?
Offense, yep.
Second round.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's like a guard or a tackle.
Second round. I ain't got nothing for you. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Yeah.
Oh whoa. Was it Michael Dieter, one of them?
No. Second round pick.
Nah, Michael Dieter. Wasn't he like a sixth?
Nah, he was later. But I was just saying if he was one of the picks.
He wasn't. So second round pick, Penn State tight end Mike Gesicki.
Gesicki.
And it's funny because on an episode when we had William Hayes on this,
we did this.
We did the exact same thing. I was like, oh, so you play with Gesicki, and Charlie was like, Gesicki was there. I was like, it's the exact same draft as Minko. Yeah. So and plus obviously he came in with Durham Smythe as well.
Who's the third person?
Jerome Baker.
No. You said there was 3 people that we didn't cover, didn't you?
No. You got 3. You missed.
Oh, and there was only 2 more.
Minka round. No, there was actually 5 more. Minka was round 1.
Just give us the whole draft class. You know, people listening want to know now.
So Minka round 1, Gesicki round 2, Baker round 3, Smythe in round 4, and
can we stop right now though? Hold on. Can we give this somebody some credit for hitting on these boys though? Minka,
of course. Yeah.
Minka, Gesicki, Bake Show. Like, can someone get some kind of credit right now? But go ahead.
Durham Smythe as well, still on the team.
Durham Smythe still on the team.
So next pick in the 4th round as well, Kalen Ballage.
Bellagio.
Arizona State.
Arizona State.
Round 6, cornerback Cornell Armstrong.
Yeah, I thought he was going to make the team too.
Okay.
And then 2 picks in the 7th round. First of all, Quinton Poling, linebacker, and then Jason Sanders. So when you talk about credit, people think Chris Greer isn't all that. But this was a Chris Greer draft class. He was the GM at the time.
But whoa. I want to be clear. Because I don't go to bat for Chris Greer from 18. I go to bat for Chris Greer from 19 when he had full control. Because this is where the argument gets a little muddy, because people will say, oh, he's been there forever. And he was I want to say he was a GM since like 16, I think, 2016.
16, yeah.
He was technically the GM since 16, but he had he had Mike Tannenbaum over him from 16 to 18. Imagine, fellas, we go to work, right? And we qualify for a position, and they say, hey, you got the position. But, you know what I'm saying? This dude's going to be working with you, so you're just going to learn under him while you still have the title, right? And then you like, yo, I could do this by myself. I don't need dude to help me out. You know what I'm saying? And then that dude gets fired, and then you make the best team ever. Like, can you imagine that? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's in essence what has happened. Not only has Chris Greer developed the best roster ever in Miami, the cap went from the dead cap of Miami went down every single year, and it's the best in the league today. Well, it might not be the best. I ain't follow up. I gotta look now, but it was on trend to being the best dead cap situation. And Chris Greer cleaned it up. Wow, putting together the best roster ever. That's impressive. But yeah, man, that's what's up.
We're playing chess while everybody else is playing checkers right now.
I need y'all to hear something real quick. Hold on.
This guy.
Messi, bro. Welcome to Miami, Messi.
Bro, listen, get cue it up. It's perfect.
And all of a sudden now Charlie is a soccer fan. But
no. I'm a football fan. Messi brought football to soccer. You know what I'm saying? Like, gotta love it.
Hey, if Sanders has a bad year, bring Messi in to kick some field goals.
Sign him up. Tyreek Hill got to come out that number 10 jersey.
We'll give Messi 10.5.
Oh, the 0. Give him that 0.
Yeah, Braxton.
Doesn't Braxton Barrios have 0?
Hey, who? It's Messi, bro. We talking about Messi, bro. Talking about Messi.
Boozy.